Welcome to Appalachian Dim Sum.
Where entertainment is our comfort food.
And this is going to be a discussion about Ghost in the Shell Standalone Complex Season 1.
Half of one.
Half of one. Well, we could talk a little bit more about it.
I don't think we can.
Really? Okay.
I've watched the whole thing.
Yeah.
Randy's only watched 12 episodes.
12 episodes, yeah.
Through 12 episodes, you're kind of enjoying the way the show functions and how the season builds a little bit. You get into the last probably 6 episodes.
Oh, okay.
It takes off. It's so good. But you can't have it spoiled for you.
Okay.
It really would ruin the enjoyment of the way that the season builds.
Okay. Well, this is episode 1 through 12 then discussion.
Yeah, I'll dip a little bit into that stuff, but I will try as hard as I can to not spoil any of it.
Well, some of the comments I have so far might be addressed by the second half of the season. Yeah. So,
real quick on it, it is a show from 2000. The first season ran from 2002 to 2003. Financial stuff is kind of hard to get info on. It said it is accounted for tens of millions of dollars in revenue with home video, product investments, which is probably licensing of figures, toys, all kinds of stuff, and subsequent releases. Pretty expensive show at the time. Episodes were about $300,000 to $400,000 an episode. So I think it was running somewhere like a little bit around $10 million to produce.
Goodness.
But I think they seem to be pretty confident saying it's like, yeah, we made a lot of money.
Yeah.
So I think with DVD sales and stuff in Japan, then the just stuff that was sold over here was just icing on top of that. It's a very popular series, and I think justifiably so. I'll grab the tagline from the really weird song at the beginning, which is like sung in Russian and then in English.
Did you see the translation of that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, my DVD, the first time, every disc, there's like 4 to 5 episodes on the disc. The very first episode on the disc translates it in English.
Okay.
And then the rest of the time at the beginning of each episode, it actually subtitles the English pronunciation of the Russian words. So you can actually learn how to actually say all the Russian, which is kind of cool.
So this is Inner Universe by Yoko Kanno.
Watching All Heavenly Glory. And I think that is very applicable to this.
Okay.
Probably to the whole Ghost in the Shell world, honestly. As I really do. It really does continue to amaze me. I don't know about the heavenly part, but it's just a really cool show. It was directed by Kenji Kamiyama. It was really his kind of first big project. He's a background artist on even some Ghibli stuff and a lot of other things. And this launched him into doing a lot of other projects. We won't get into all those things that he did. But he did several things that I've enjoyed. And when you watch the animation of this and you see the other things I'm talking about, like Morbido, like that series, it's the same style animation.
Well, it's from Production IG.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever. We've talked about them before.
Yeah. They've done just oodles of stuff. But
oh my goodness, yeah, very prolific.
The show, I think it's a brilliant show, and again, you might be teetering on the point of not seeing that yet. I think you'll get there.
Well, so far, just with the first 12 episodes, I am enjoying it. I would say I'm enjoying it more than I enjoyed either of the movies.
It's when they say standalone, that's got multiple meanings here. There actually is a definition for that at the very end of the last episode, which we won't get into. But it is a mix of standalone episodes that are just individual little short stories that are really good at kind of developing the character, building the characters. You got multiple people. You got Major, Batu, Togasa, the Chief, Aramaki, even some of the other guys, the Ichikawa, some of those guys. Those episodes really kind of develop each and every one of those guys in little ways here and there. But then there's an underlying sort of overarching, I guess maybe is the right word, storyline that's building.
With the Laughing Man?
And I think through 12, you've probably only just kind of dipped your toes into that water.
Right. That was one of the things I was thinking while I was watching it is one of the things I've said in the past is, and explicitly about this series, is how it's like 24 episodes, and now anime is like 12 episodes a season, and like shows produced in America or even like sometimes like 8 episodes. Like the number of episodes per season has really gotten smaller. But a lot of these episodes could have like just been taken out. I think that's what it is like,
well, there is an OVA of just the Laughing Man saga.
Oh, okay.
So I think that, I don't know how that was released. I have never seen that, but if you pulled just the Laughing Man saga part out of this, it would probably be 7 to 10 episodes, maybe.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking.
This will tell you that story.
If they just told the Laughing Man story, and I think that's what a lot of modern shows are missing, is they don't go off and just kind of like let you be in this world with a story that's contained within one episode. All episodes are associated to those stories.
There's 2 series that I would say fall into the same category, depending on your generation. I was a Miami Vice kid. It was the cool thing that we got to watch growing up. Friday night primetime episode thing. The Miami Vice functions very much the same way this is, where it's a lot of sort of police drama, crime drama, murder mystery type things that go from just dealing with like one little short story about, a character, a criminal, whatever, with an underlying thing running through the whole series, chasing something bigger. The aesthetics of Miami Vice and the music and stuff is very similar to Standalone Complex. Made 2 decades apart, so it's not like they were out at the same time, but I think Standalone Complex is almost a callback to something like Miami Vice. The other show that I would throw in there real quick is like X-Files, where you had a long running story that was sort of weaving in between all of the things that happened, but then you'd go off and go look for the Loch Ness Monster or the Leech Monster or little cool individual. The
Seraphim.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's very similar like that. I wish they did more shows like that. I'm watching another one right now that's kind of the same way. We'll talk about that more maybe some other time. Golden Kamui. It's a long running anime with development for more things live action on Netflix, and you could cut out half of that into just the main storyline, but it kind of makes it more fun to kind of stay involved with, because it gives you a story about this character and about this character, and then sometimes it's like a little side adventure, sometimes it's something stupid, but sometimes it's coming back to like the Standalone Complex. Like I know you got it on the 2nd episode, the one with the tank. I love that episode. I've watched that one multiple times, where there's 2 programmers, one of them died, the other one kind of fulfilled his wish, put his ghost into like this huge like military like battle tank, and the tank goes out. The guy wanted revenge on his parents.
He was tearing. It reminded me of that guy who welded a bunch of steel plates on a bulldozer.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Really was like a killdozer.
The killdozer, yeah. And he just like tore through a town. Yeah, that's exactly what that.
That episode has nothing else to do with like the whole overarching story of it, but it's just like, it's one of those things you can just go back and watch it. The action and it's so cool. They're trying to stop this huge tank with the little tachikomas and excuse me, all the weaponry and stuff that Section 9 has, and just getting mauled. And there's multiple episodes that are like that. I think you get some later that are there's even like sort of like a love interest story with Aramaki. I think that's much later than Where You Are.
Yeah, I haven't seen that.
Kind of gets into some of his past. You have stuff that kind of appeals to lots of different people. And that's kind of, I think, what makes the series so strong, is you get a tank battle in one show, and you get sort of like an old love story in another, and then you get, I think it was episode 11. I think you saw that, the one about the serial killer.
Yep.
Like that was almost like a Silence of the Lambs level thing.
Yeah, I did want to talk about that one. Kind of calling back to our discussion about Perfect Blue and about animation being a good medium to show some of the more unsavory parts of our world. Because when I was watching that episode, like I felt some of the visualizations, like, even though it wasn't graphic, they like went right up to the point where I was uncomfortable watching that. It was a hard to watch episode.
They didn't air it.
Was really good.
They didn't air that one for, I know, in Canada and multiple other places at all.
Yeah,
and then they aired it late and aired it with violence disclaimers anywhere that they did show it, even like in our market.
Yeah.
They
I believe it.
almost like open with an apology, like, we're sorry for what you're about to watch.
Right.
Have fun, guys.
Yeah, it very like very much, yeah, obviously, Perfect Blue because it's the same medium, but like it made me think of Seven.
Yeah,
Like that the content of that one episode very much mirrored the kind of stuff that you see in Seven. It was very very uncomfortable.
that's one of the episodes though. That's one of many that I think is really made, especially rewatching this. 'Cause I've watched this through, I know, at least twice before,
Mm.
but it's been really scattered when I've watched it. Watching it, all the episodes a lot closer together, which I did this time, I think is one way that you really should do it at some point. Because I was watching it just when I had time before, and you'd be like, "Oh yeah, I remember that storyline about the laughing guy." Um, but that episode and multiple other ones make Batu probably one of my favorite
Yeah,
characters
Batu's pretty
in
good.
all of media, not just in anime.
I
Um,
like how we love how he's so loving to the Tachikomas, his tank.
yeah,
They
that he
in one of the, I think it might have been, I think it might, yeah, it was episode 12, the last one I watched. They were very critical of him for treating it like a pet.
yeah,
Yeah.
the way he multiple times he'll see, and it's not spoiling anything. He chooses to enforce the law over getting revenge,
Mm-hmm.
and gets emotional, gets angry, and then always chooses the right path. But then, like when he breaks bad, when he knows it's no other choice but to break bad, he's awesome. I love the episodes where he knows, like, oh, it's like Bato's getting ready to get ready to get cut loose on these people. This is going to be awesome. But the Tachikomas is another fun part of the series. Tachikomas, if you haven't watched it, are these little kind of like spider tanks that are part of Section 9. They're introducing AI to kind of test them out in these robots. And throughout the series, pretty quickly in the series, the AI is developing like too fast. And because these little tanks can access the web, I guess that's the simplest thing to call it. Some of them are reading and learning. They're developing individuality. And I think that's a pretty cool commentary in 2002 that they saw already, that how dangerous AI can be when you just kind of open it up and let it have access to everything. And in the show, they start to like almost revolt and kind of collectivize a little bit. Like, we need to unionize against.
And a lot of this takes place like in after credit little scenes, and they're very comical scenes, but it shows them interacting with each other
It's
and learning from each other, and sometimes creating little out groups and in groups. It's very cute.
the very of all the various things I've seen in media where they have some little cute thing that's always a little bit on the annoying side, is usually a big turnoff for me on most series and shows and even movies. This is probably one of the only ones that I really like. I really like the Tachikomas, and they get. That's what I like about this series that you haven't gotten to yet, is that they have a arc that pays off,
Okay.
and it's not just this little goofy side thing to um, the second half of this the second the last third of the series is really where a lot of things that are kind of seem like they're kind of floating around
Mm-hmm.
at this point in the series really come back around and tie up very neatly, like very well planned out, very well written. uh, I'm talking about the series from being from 2002 also. It
Yeah.
really frightens me sometimes how much Japan is able to just look at our culture and be like, dude, what's wrong with y'all?
Yeah, you get that from from some of the writers. The guy who wrote, have ever heard of the game Metal Gear Solid?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. The guy who wrote that, the stuff that's in Metal Gear, people are always like posting, kind of like how the Simpsons, they're like, the Simpsons predicted this,
Yeah.
that sort of thing.
Yeah.
They're posting stuff from the Metal Gear games from the late 90s and early 2000s where it's like, wait a minute. He was talking, Kojima was talking about this back then.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's kind of prophetic.
I don't think you get into too much of this so far with where you are, but you literally get into the suppression of valid medical treatments at the expense of promoting a product that the government had money into.
Right.
Ivermectin, hydroxychloroquine, excuse me, um, to like information control, like where they're everybody involved, the good and the bad guys, are nitpicking releases, leaking information to the press, and using the press to sway emotions and sentiment. And I know that's not something that just happened in the last 5 years.
Yeah.
That's been happening all of our lifetime. But the way
the
way that it happens in this is very similar to things that have happened in the last 5 years.
I think a lot of it is there are proclivities for people in power to maintain control that have always existed.
Yeah.
And what they were seeing with the growing internet. I mean, this was at this time that when they made this, the internet wasn't even 10 years old. So the introduction of the internet, they kind of were seeing, well, with this kind of access to information and the ability to control the information, this is what the people who like to control things could do.
Yeah.
And I've often wondered, like, well, how much of it is prophetic, and how much of it has been just like manuals? It's like, hey, if you guys want to control media, here's these writers who came up with some good idea.
You mean like big groups of people, of world leaders that all get together and have conferences?
Yeah,
every year
and
plan all of our fates.
Let us know about the bioengineering ticks and whatnot that's going to make us stop eating meat because they don't want us to eat meat anymore. That kind of stuff.
There's a narrative through this that is basically January the 6th, where the government officials just create a narrative and use it against people to target them. And it's like, wow.
Yep.
Okay. And again, that probably wasn't exclusive to just happening once here. That's probably been, well, that's not probably, that has happened multiple times in history. But the way that the upper levels of this is still Japanese government with a prime minister and a cabinet and all that kind of stuff. The way that everybody is just like, well, suppress that group's they just nonchalant or like, just don't release any of that, or leak this to these people so that those people won't have a chance to get their word out. It's like that kind of stuff happens like it's just daily business there. And I'm like, man, not that it doesn't happen like that here. It just, unfortunately, we're just becoming aware of how much it happens here day by day.
Yeah. I do want to talk about, I had some questions about Togusa. Yes. And this might be one of those things where you're going to be like, it's a spoiler. But one of the things from the first film, and I know that they're like narratively, they're not really in the same continuity.
I've always thought that this was supposed to be
before the film.
Happened before the film.
Yeah, because I mean, we see at the end of the first film, we see the end of Major essentially.
Yeah.
She effectively dies. And then in the second film, you see what she's been doing after she dies, like But
you come into this too with really from the first episode of this being a group of people that have been working together for a while,
right?
And are pretty familiar with each other and have a unity of like not like a veteran group, but a pretty seasoned group of soldiers.
That's one of the things I'm really curious about how they're going to handle the 2026 anime coming up.
Yeah,
like because I'm pretty sure they're going to be telling the story of the Puppet Master. Yeah. I think that's what they're going to be telling. But are they going to go the route of the film and be like, okay, well, after the Puppet Master event, she merged with the Puppet Master and became this new thing?
Yeah.
Or are they going to kind of go this route and be like, well, they're still together, they're still working?
I put my faith into Japanese writers that they'll, maybe it'll be a much earlier part of the Puppet Master's story and give us some development of him, because you really just get him in the movie as here's the Puppet Master.
Yeah.
So maybe
it could also be kind of like how the Laughing Man was peppered throughout this. The Puppet Master could be like the.
I want to talk about the Laughing Man so bad, but I can't spoil that for you.
Okay, well, I guess maybe after I finish watching it, we'll do a.
We'll just do a Laughing
Ghost
Man.
in the Shell, the Laughing Man.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, excellent.
Yeah. That
sounds great to me. But anyway, back to Togusa. In the first film, it was a point that was made that, okay, well, he's not cybernetic like the rest of us.
Yeah.
And they meant like his physical body. Because Bato has the eyes, he muscles. I mean, he's very much a cyborg.
I think it's almost like cell phones in this world have just become like an implant in your head.
But like from our perspective, like he has this thing in his head that not only allows him to communicate wirelessly, but sometimes not for some reason.
Yeah.
Because when he was with all those kids, he had to like physically put something in his ear.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was just maybe there was a dampener, so they couldn't, because I know they didn't have access to outside, so maybe like they didn't even allow the wireless signal.
Yeah.
But anyway, from our perspective, Togusa is like completely cyborg, because he can wirelessly communicate with other cyborgs, and they can influence his mind to the point where he thinks he's experiencing things that he's not.
Yeah.
So like, I would love like when they say cyber brain, I'm really, and this may just be something I missed. Like, how much of a cyber brain is it? Is it just like they shove a phone in the head, or
Yeah, I've always assumed like in something like this, and again, you're talking about probably one of the least technologically savvy people that probably you'll encounter this week. There would be something like chipped into your head that works into like your optic and your sensory nerves, to where you can hear it and use it to see things. Because it's not like you pull your phone out and look at the display.
Right.
It's like when they want to see something, a lot of times it's like a little like round screen that kind of pops
Yeah.
up, and it's just there in the animation to represent what they can actually see. I don't think they actually see a thing pop up over here beside them, but it's just kind of letting us see this is how they're seeing data, how they're, you know,
Like I think it might
Randy's a
be.
bad guy. Here's the file on Randy, and all of a sudden it pops up and they can see it. You know,
I think it might be like a situation where like I could see something that you don't see,
yeah.
or we could both see the same thing.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that's like regulated by Section 9. You know, like they have classified access to things, and but I think oh my gosh, Aramaki, I think even he kind of controls like what they can see, because they have Ishikawa and they have a lot of these like, they all look the same. They're like little clone bots of these girls that are basically just extra processing when Ichikawa needs to do something that requires more computer power. Like they just bring them out and they hook them up into terminals by him. And there's one episode, maybe I'm getting ahead of where you are, where they're trying to hack into something and the bots are just, they're blowing circuits and their heads are starting to like blow open and smoke because they can't process the information fast enough.
That in
And
where I am in the series, it's getting more and more apparent that in this world they really do treat the human brain as a computer. Like that's
the coolest thing is like while that's happening in that episode, I don't think it's spoiling anything. I'll try not to, because they don't have the processing power to do what they're trying to do in that episode. They hack into a like a cyber lounge where all these old people are gambling and just like access their brains, and they're using them just as like extra processing power. And all these old people
crazy.
All these old people that are sitting there and they're all of a sudden they're like all euphoric and they're all giggling and stuff. And it's because they're like, I guess they put something in front of them so they don't know that they've been hijacked, and they're all just sitting there. But it's like this whole, you know, like a cafe size, restaurant size room of these guys are all sitting at terminals, and they just, we need to borrow that processing power. So they just hack in like 2 seconds, they hack into it and use it. It's crazy.
We know that children have cyber brains. Like, how early do they put these things in
I've never heard him say.
Yeah, that was, those are the kind of questions I was thinking of while I was watching it, especially the one where Togusa goes into the like the facility with all the kids who have the what do they call it, like the ghost, closed off, their ghost is closed off in their brain, where they're like obsessed with the internet and they're like these master hackers. And that, like that one, the entire episode, you didn't know it's associated with the Laughing Man at all. It was only at the very end where, and that's when I was like, wait a minute, how much of a cyborg is Togusa? I kind of think, and this might just be a byproduct of the times, but like what we know of the brain now, to me, it would make more sense that it was more of a conditioning of the brain and not like a physical thing they install. Because that's kind of where I am with this. It's like, well, like everybody has this. You're right. It is very much treated like a cell phone. Like everyone has a cell phone now. Yeah. I mean, our homeless have cell phones.
When did the smartphone even come in?
2006.
Yeah, so this is before that.
2007 is before that. Yeah.
This was before that.
Yeah.
That's again where a
little prophetic.
You watch this and you're like,
yeah,
man. It's like, are these people that like made the world this way, or are they just the ones that saw it coming and they were just like, man, maybe we could stop this if we let people see what it's going to be like? And it didn't work, of course.
And I can see the technology developing to the point to where we're gonna have wearables. That's coming, where people have glasses and that's their cell phone. Right. But then at some point it might just be something like a little earpiece you put on and it interfaces with your optical nerve and that's it. But like at some point, could it literally just be something you swallow, and then that like nanites or like microscopic robots go into your brain and yeah.
But was that not a theory back in 2020 that we were being injected with chips?
It was.
That probably was not that unbased in reality.
Yeah.
probably that one guy that like already knows like this is what's coming next, guys.
Yeah.
I'm trying to tell you, and you're like, oh, he's crazy. He's a conspiracy theorist. And like, what are we 6 years later now? Probably within a couple of years of just having somebody like we have to go by before we can participate in government anymore to be like, here, get your shot in the side of your head. Let us inject this thing.
But once I finish the first season, I'll probably dive a little bit more because I don't want to spoil it for myself by reading like Reddit and whatnot.
Yeah, no.
But I'll probably go on like, see, used to be I'll go on the forums, but forums don't exist anymore. The few times I've gone on them recently, they're like tried to find a dedicated forum. They're just full of junk.
Yeah, no.
So, and I hate that. I hate that Reddit is like the place, but it is what it is.
At this point, somebody would be on a forum trying to tell you that Batu has pronouns or something, and you're like, shut up. It's like, just watch the show.
So, but yeah, I'd really like to know like technically how does the cyber brain work? How is it installed? When is it installed? Because we see the animation of like Major, and we see other adult cyborgs with their cyber brains, and they'll open their skull up and they'll pull this thing out that just looks like a metal brain.
I like the storytelling device though, just being like, this is the world that we're in.
True.
And you don't have to come back in and be like, this is
Man,
how.
I like lore though. Lore is great.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, no, I agree. I like the lore, but I'm fine. The way the story builds and unfolds. This is just the first season that I've watched. Yeah. It's 26 episodes. There's a second gig, which is the second season, which I can't say anything about because even just saying where that picks up ruins where this is.
You've watched the second gig as well?
No, I've not seen that. I've only seen this. This only goes through the first.
Okay.
Second gig is available online, okay. But I know where it picks up. I've read where it picks up, and I'm like, even when I read that description before I finished that, I was like, huh, I wonder how that happened. And then you get to how that happened here. So, yeah.
Just want to talk real quick about Major herself.
Yeah.
Both the personality and I think I must have seen like clips or something of Ghost in the Shell Standalone Complex back in the day, because like the personality of this Major is very much the personality of what I thought Major was.
Yeah, I think you said something before about how you always thought she was kind of sarcastic and witty,
and she is in this.
I don't think she's always kind of been more the commanding officer figure, kind of Batu and Togusa are kind of more the comic relief or the levity in the show, I guess is the right word for it.
Yeah, but comparing this to the two films and even the 2017 live action film, her personality in this is a bit more. She's a bit more personable. That's the way I'll say it. She's not as robotic.
Yeah, it's a little bit, but it's still pretty. I'm the one that's in charge of this group of elite like secret soldiers. It's not. She's not running around cracking jokes all the time,
right?
And insulting people and doing stuff. It's. I mean, a lot of times she shows up like, "This is what I was doing, and that's an order," and everybody's like, "Yes, ma'am."
She put her foot down with Batu with the was it organic oil
with the oil for the
said, no more of that.
Yeah,
because we've been messing with them.
Yeah, that'll develop more.
And I definitely think the 2017 Scarlett Johansson version of Major, at least physically, was based off of this version.
Yeah,
because she doesn't have the weight to her.
Yeah,
like she did in the first film.
She's still got the strength and stuff.
Got the strength, very acrobatic. That one episode where she was fighting against the clones. Like, that's when I thought that. I was like, oh, she's very nimble.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I like the fact though that most of the time she's carrying something that's the equivalent of sort of like a tactical assault rifle.
Yeah.
Batu and Boma are the ones that show up with like a thing that like they lay it down on top of a vehicle because it's like so huge. And they're the guys that kind of bring the heavy artillery, which again, that's why I like those guys. And you'll get some discussion as you get through the rest of the series about why she's in that frame. She actually talks about that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And again, I can't spoil that one for you. We'll have to come back and do this. Do a little bit more information.
Well, at one point, Batu did ask her. He was like, "Why are you in a female frame? Why don't you just go ahead and make the switch?" Yeah. And I was like, "That's interesting." Like, for cultural narratives.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like that she was like, no, this is the frame I like, and this is the frame I want. Yeah,
because she's a female brain.
That's right.
And
yeah,
female brains belong in female bodies.
and I would like to hear Batu's explanation of why he isn't in a female frame. It would probably just be he wants to be strong.
Oh, I mean, again, he was a special forces
Yeah,
soldier, and conflicts that there was a war that happened before this. I'm not sure that I've gone back to look and really understand exactly what that was. You want to think of it in the context of something like a Vietnam, but it really wasn't. There was another war going on. But
let me see. I'm just Googling real quick what war was Batu in. Of course, he fought World War IV, 3 and 4.
Yeah, I think there was a.
Well, that's right, because it's like the whole American Empire and stuff. There's a whole alternate history.
Yeah. We could maybe look into the lore and come back with one of those two.
Yeah,
we can do a little research on the lore of the technology and the world both, because there's a lot there.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Well, yeah, we'll talk again about Ghost in Shell Standalone Complex. When I finish it up, we'll talk about the Laughing Man.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'd love to dig more into the lore of it and just have like a lore discussion about Ghost in Shell Standalone Complex by itself.
Yes.
Yeah. That's
it's. I don't know where to rank it. I mean, it really is one of my favorite series. It's one of the few series that I've watched through 3 times now.
Oh wow, okay.
And I still just really enjoy, especially the way it builds and the way it ends. So, if you have not tracked it down, I think it's even free on Adult Swim. If you can,
Tubi is where I've been watching it.
Yeah,
I have the DVDs, but I've been watching it on Tubi.
It's free in places, so it's not hard to track down, and it's definitely worth it. So,
well, it's Ghost in Shell Standalone Complex. Episodes 1 through 12.
Yeah. Later.